Hi, Internet. Did some testing. Looks like everything's good to go. So we're just going to go on from here. Today, I'm playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I played the original game when it first came out, like a long time ago, whenever that was. It's a lot of fun. It's like a choose your own adventure game, and um, you know, just gonna go from there. Honestly, test the audio. Sounds like everything should be okay. So just gonna go on from here. And I'm actually really excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, give me a second. Sorry, I had to send a quick text. Excuse me. All right, choose a screen and subtitles. English. Have I played the Stanley Parable before? Yes, I have. Just that now, I'll just leave it at default. Default is fine. Enter the current time. It is... close enough. It is 4:09. Accessibility stuff. Okay. Alrighty. Should be good to go from here. So yeah, anyone who hasn't played this before, it's a choose your own adventure game between you, essentially controlling the main character and the narrator. And there's all kinds of different hijinks you can get into. And one of the fun things is this version apparently has more stuff.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it
part of me wants to like pause
Stanley
and look at that text on the screen.
As though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Aww.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Oh, really?
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Well, that ain't
no one
good.
had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his
Stanley.
years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh, we are changing that. Hold on. Much better. No, we're not.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly.
Oh, it's going badly.
Now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever.
How did I know how to do that? That's one of the original endings from the first game.
Then days.
From like...
Had years gone by? He no longer
I want to
had
say
the ability to
2013?
tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond
Something like
any
that.
doubt,
This
was
game
that
has
if
a
he waited
lot of
long
endings.
enough,
It's a
the
choose-your-own
answers would
adventure.
come.
And
Eventually,
I know a
someday,
good...
they would
I remember a
arrive.
good amount of the
Soon,
original endings, but I
very
can't wait to
soon
see all
now,
the new
this
stuff.
will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told
After this,
what
I'm
to
definitely
do.
going to try to show you my
Now
favorite
it's
ending.
just a little bit closer.
It's kind of hilarious.
Now it's even closer.
Because the narrator's just
Here
like,
it
what are you
comes.
doing? The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. This game is a lot of fun if you like, kind of just annoying. Well, actually, I won't show you my favorite ending just yet, because I gotta do something else first.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, see about that.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Sure, why not?
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really worth it being here in the room.
No, the narrator's gonna hate me by the end of this.
Captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Oh, just wait. One of my favorite endings has
Stanley's
him
obsession with this
pissed
room
off.
bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
There's a few where the narrator gets so mad. I love it.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
I'm pretty sure that's the last one. I'm gonna keep going.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Yeah, about that.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh, it's great. I love this game. You want me to go on there, huh? What's down here?
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
And yeah, that's quote-unquote an ending. Not my favorite. My favorite ending kind of spans across 3 different playthroughs, quote-unquote. So, I'll at least start that one now.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Maybe.
When Stanley came to a set of 2
door on the
open
left.
doors, he entered the door on his left.
I got it, unfortunately.
Yet there was not a single person here.
Oh, this
either.
slideshow
Feeling
is
a wave
really
of
funny,
disbelief,
actually, at one point.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you. Take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Let it ball up inside you. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. If you stare at these long enough, they start to go crazy, and it's just like, help. Everyone is unique. You, most of all. I don't think that's how unique this works, technically, but you know. Number of slides on this slide. Charts, charts, and slides. Rate at which charts on the same slide depict the same information. I'm not reading all that. Rate of increase in graphs per slide. Please, no more charts. Please, I'm begging. Stop. Anyway, that was it. Now to start my favorite ending. The broom closet ending.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. baffling.
Oh,
that
there's
Stanley was
tons of
still
other
just sitting in the broom
adventures
closet.
for us to be
He wasn't even
nice.
doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way.
Just keep listening.
He's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet?
Yes.
Standing around doing nothing?
Yes.
Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
It's my favorite ending.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path.
Yep.
Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Probably, but honestly, this still is my favorite just from the dialogue alone.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yeah, there we go. He's starting to get pissed.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed in front of your screen. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby?
No, there was no building up. He
This
just got pissed
computer
and decided to
is
say,
dead.
screw
They
it.
have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the
Don't worry,
area
Justin. There's
and
times
instruct another
where some of the
human to
past
take
where
their
the narrator
place,
gets
making
revenge
sure
on you.
they understand
So.
basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Oh, there's like times where, like right now, I'm doing this to piss off the narrator, but it's also just my favorite ending. Sometimes there's like endings where the narrator just kind of gets tired of your BS and just decides, you know what, I'm just gonna try to screw you over, and it's almost just as funny. Anyway, he thinks that the first player, quote unquote, died. So listen to this.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Is that a broom closet?
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Okay, so that's all we can do for this time. We'll come back to that on another playthrough, and he'll be so happy to see it.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alright, so we're gonna do a, this is kind of a quote-unquote more secret ending. Getting it to work is a little tricky.
Stepping into his manager's
No!
office, Stanley was
No,
once
damn
again
it.
stunned to discover not an indication of any human
Ah,
life.
damn it, I missed it.
Shocked, unraveled,
well.
Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't
You're
even
supposed
have
to
a
get out
single
those
minute
doors
to
before
just
they
let
close.
the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Yeah, if you try to speedrun the game and you put in the code before he gets a chance to say it, he's just like, why don't you just let me tell the story?
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Well, this seems dark. Oh boy, pushing buttons. I love pushing buttons. Oh yeah, no, there's so many different like dialogue options. It's actually a lot of
Descending
fun.
deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
But did he? Nah.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I sure do.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Give me a second. Looks like the chat is being a little weird. I might need to fix the properties. Hold on. Because I just noticed it's kind of bugging out behind my camera. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. Maybe a little more down. That should be fine. Justin, say something. Yeah, it looks okay. Anyway, more to the escape. Look, Justin, freedom! That doesn't look ominous, right? Well, we're going in anyway. Hey, red's one of my favorite colors, though. Red doesn't always equal bad.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had
I guess this is technically escape.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story. Trapped forever in his narrow vision.
Nah, it's fine.
Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Just remember, the end is never the end is never the end.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
The Stanley Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
So this is just kind of a like a museum of all the stuff they made, and I'll probably look more into this later, but I'll probably wait. I'll save this kind of thing for the end of the game, like when I'm done doing all the paths. I just thought it was funny to go this way first.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two.
I
You
can?
stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your Nintendo Switch. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking
Should I do it? Should I turn it off?
Stop now, and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Ah, man, we got killed while I was waiting for an answer. Oh, well. Spoiler alert, I was just going to let it do it anyway. And, yeah, that's an ending. You just get crushed to death. You start to listen, and then you just decide not to, and then boop.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So, can you guess what ending I'm going to shoot for
Stanley
this time?
came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a
you have
person
fun.
here either.
Actually, before you go
Feeling a
real
wave
quick,
of
just listen to this.
disbelief,
It's going to be
Stanley
worth it.
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
He just gives up at that point. I love it. All right, you have fun doing whatever you need to do, Justin. I'll make sure this is uploaded to YouTube later. So,
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
so now I'm just gonna go back to like talking to anyone who's gonna watch this later. Now I'm gonna try to get that ending I missed earlier. Oh, really?
Okay, I think we...
And I broke it. I broke it. I was supposed to stay in the room, but I didn't. Now where do we go? Well, broom closet. No, I'm just kidding. I think there's a quote-unquote whiteboard ending, but I don't remember. I broke the game. The narrator's gone. And there's holes in the ceiling. And there's a hallway over there, but like no way to get there. It makes no sense. But what's this? A new door has opened. You are now leaving. Freedom! There's an escape pod up 6 floors. Time to go. This building layout makes no sense. Unless it's like extra dimensional, which it could be. How is the same floor on everything? Or the same numbers are on every floor, I mean. It's like it's a video game. Escape pod! Yes, freedom! And we did it. We broke the game and got away. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Alright,
What
so
could
let's
it
see.
mean?
This time...
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
we're gonna finish the broom closet ending real quick.
When Stanley came to a set of two
Yeah,
open
yeah,
doors,
door on the left.
he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Oh, he just boarded up the broom closet. He's done with my shit. God damn it. Let me in! Let me in! Oh, ow, cracked my neck. Okay, well, let's,
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nah, let's go downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Deja vu.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example,
I think we're
why
trapped in an
couldn't he see his
Izanami.
feet when he looked down?
Wait,
Why
what?
did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Wait, what?
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Yeah.
Were they simply repeating?
Maybe?
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled.
Oh, okay.
This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. He thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
I guess.
So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Whoa.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
I mean, doesn't
Now
everyone
the
have a
was
voice in their head that
describing itself
dictates what
being
they
considered
do?
by Stanley, who found
Technically.
it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream.
It's not.
How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself. Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
Yeah.
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How
Probably
else
not.
would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Sure.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal.
No.
Everything will be fine.
Normal is boring.
I am okay.
Sure. Hey, about that, we're still here.
Stanley began screaming.
Ah!
Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley.
Ah!
I have a boss. I have an office. I am
Egg.
real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Ah! I'm blind.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Hi.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like.
We
and
do?
in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled.
Seeing
for
a
that
dead
day.
crazy person
The
helps
very
you feel
important
better about
people
conformity?
whose impressions of her would affect her career.
I mean,
and
I
by
guess whatever
extension,
works.
the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
Yeah,
And then
someone
she
else will
turned
get it,
around.
right? That kind of thinking is not healthy.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
New narration. New content. Before we do this door, there's one more ending I want to get real quick, at least.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was
Nope.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Wow. Yes, this room.
Eh.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nah.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
What? Really?
was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others?
No, just
Are you
you.
that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Yes.
Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
No buckets past this point.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Oh, hey, blue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
But blue.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Oh, hey, blue.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
Yes.
Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
Absolutely.
Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did.
I'm sure you
And
did.
in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees?
Sure.
Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
I do love a good
Let me take a stab in the
RPG.
dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
Sure.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Nah, I'm gonna take the door on the left.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Would it have benefited? Probably, but I'm gonna give it a 2.
Oh, well, now this is useful. You didn't like it, but you didn't totally hate it either. You enjoyed it, perhaps is the correct term. It didn't cause you excruciating pain. Big steps we've made here today, Stanley. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
He adds a worldwide leaderboard, quote unquote. I don't think it's real, but it is pretty hilarious. Only the worst 3% of players chose the blue door. How long does it take you to get to the correct door? Oh, he gets so mad. We'll do the new door now.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
No.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
Sure.
Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger.
Oh, no.
You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
So there actually is an ending where if you play this for 4 hours, it counts as an ending. I really don't want to do this, but if I ever reach like I'll probably make this like a reached follower goal. I don't know, maybe like 100 people or something. I'll probably write it down later. But I don't know. If I get enough followers and people want me to do this, I'll do it. I guess I'll spend a weekend or whatever time I have doing this. But for now, I'm just gonna let the baby go.
You heartless bastard.
Yeah.
Did you do it because you hate babies
No.
or purely to spite me?
Yeah.
Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done.
I win.
It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain.
Okay.
Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Excuse me. The end is never the end is never the end is never the end is never.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to
I've
me
never
that
seen
you
this
are
game
meant to
before,
play
but I
as a
don't remember what it's
creepy
called
man
now.
spying on innocent
Firewatch,
civilians below you from
maybe?
up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose.
I doubt it.
Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Okay. Wait, was that the Minecraft sound effect? Yeah. A huge world to explore. Let's go.
Oh no. No, it can't be.
Yeah.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
Hey.
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions.
Yeah.
No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game.
What?
Preferably
No.
something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
Let me run around.
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Is it Portal? Are we going back into the Portal world? Oh, this isn't Portal.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a
Rocket
nice
League.
big box for you to run around in.
Huh.
There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here.
I'm pretty sure in the
this
original
is
game,
design.
It was
Stanley,
Portal
if you
2,
manage to
or
get
was it
lost in
Portal?
this game,
One of
I
those
will
two.
be phenomenally impressed.
Oh, I'll find a way to get lost. Don't worry. Somehow.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball?
Sports ball?
Stanley, I think it's sports ball.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what fun.
But I
We
don't
shall
know
run the
anything about
bases and do
sports
a
ball, really.
touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay,
I'm not
Stanley,
a
here's
a
the
sports
ball.
guy.
Have fun.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm playing Rocket League, kinda. Well, I'm always Team Blue, so go away, Orange.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is
Yeah,
this fun?
touchdown.
Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on?
Something like that.
Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm
Possibly.
going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes. Oh, goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls.
Oh, God. Well, embracing the chaos, I guess. Whee!
Are you enjoying this, Stanley?
Sure.
Are you having fun?
I guess.
Is this a real video game?
I mean, I paid for
Well, I
it.
sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over.
Wait, what?
That's right. Your little fun comes to an end.
No!
This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley.
Screw
Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you.
No, you don't.
Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose.
No.
And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best.
Yeah.
Take care, Stanley.
Oh, don't worry. I'll find a way to get lost, like you said earlier. I bet it's over here. And I bet it's somewhere else. Oh, maybe it's the goalpost. I think, because didn't the ball disappear when we kicked it in earlier? Yeah, the original game, when you took this pathway, it was Minecraft and Portal or Portal 2, I think.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Freedom!
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Bye! Guess we'll just walk around. Oh, or we'll fall some more. Man, this place sure is decrepit. Hello? Is anyone here? Or is it just going to be me talking like a crazy person? I think that's the right way. Oh yeah, light. Hello? Hello? Ooh, 427. Ah, yes. Numbers and things. Sure is some software and stuff. Hello? Oh.
I wonder what he found.
Me
If
too.
what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me.
Nah.
Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
But the end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Yeah, it's getting a little hot in here again. Need to see about getting a fan or something. Whew.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Actually, why don't we try the new content? I'm curious.
Oh, new content?
Yeah.
What does that mean, new content?
Let's go find out. Oh, I'm getting some notifications. Anything important? No. No was fine.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Hi.
As you may know,
Oh, it was
the Stanley
2013.
Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Yay!
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Okay.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
I bet it's not.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Gimme the content, Stanley.
I was gonna say, you started to sound like Stewie for a second there.
All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Alright, I guess this is new content. Whee! Now I want to jump more. Now I want to jump more. Ugh, fine.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Watch that be all it is.
Another elevator. Stanley,
I would be
have
okay
to
with
say,
that, actually.
Initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
I mean, this is a lot more than some companies
The
do.
whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore."
Wait, really? Wow, I love it.
What quality assurance department signed off on this? It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
Okay.
No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Okay, I guess. The end is never the end is never the end is never the end is never. I think you put us in the wrong place. The door doesn't even close. Okay.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Nah.
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
Hey. Oh, fine. I'll be nice this one time.
Never mind. You're not a dork.
Yeah. Coffee nut.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well,
I don't know. I didn't
thinking
mind
about
jumping.
the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Ooh.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Oh, looks pretty. I'll give you that.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap Nintendo Switch port? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back
no.
then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
October 2013. Maybe. I think I was helping one of my friends do something or something. Probably something. Hey, here's your quick buck if you still want it. I found it. Oh, I never did unlock that. I eventually I guess I'll go back and open it up again. Maybe. Thanks, Mariella, for just leaving my dead body on the sidewalk. Very pretty.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Elevator content. I have played Skyrim. Completely beat that like twice, and even did a modded adventure run just for shits and giggles. And I don't think I could never play normal Skyrim ever again, just because of how much fun the modded version was. Never played Persona 3, but I did play Persona 5.
A moving passage. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the Nintendo Switch. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Yeah, that's just kind of par for the course nowadays. Yeah, I've only played Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal, but well, I've played the dancing games, I guess, but I don't think those count. But what I've seen of 3, 4, and 5, the 3 that like everyone talks about nowadays.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again.
I mean, I could just hit the reset button, but you know. I would say between the 3 that everyone talks about, it looks like Persona 4 is probably the best overall.
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Just between like story and other stuff, but I do really like Persona 5. But that might just be me being biased because it's my first, so.
Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games.
Pressurized
I haven't looked at these
Gas?
in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
The hell is Pressurized Gas?
Honestly,
Oh.
I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion.
I get
the
it.
narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Well, let's just walk all over his opinion, I guess. Going down, down. I was gonna say, were any of these good? Oh, I guess that one might be, but I can't really read it.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I?
No, you're
You
narrator.
can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
But now you're just as human as the rest of us. Welcome aboard.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
You doing anything, I think, technically makes you a whore.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley
that's half the
Parable is
fun.
a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time, everything all at once, so, now you see, blah, 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 blah. We've eaten too much, and it can't be just yet, no, until 245.
But the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime.
Lunchtime.
Can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say the story and the choices, or what have you.
Okay,
and
I think we
therefore,
found the
by
repeat
becoming
point.
it is. So on and so forth.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice.
Oh, really?
That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your great gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in
Possibly.
fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. Ah. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise.
I have half in mind to just let
manifesto.
this play for a while, but I'm
Treatise,
willing to bet this is the
manifesto.
repeat point.
Treatise. Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you?
I
But
guess.
that's the power of the button.
The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their pressurized gas review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps.
Cookie
To be
9.
honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on how exactly pressurized gas works. Perhaps that would have been a smart thing to check on before I went on about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is who runs pressurized gas will instantly run out and implement a new
Nabgool.
feature to make it possible to edit one's review merely because of this very situation. Yes.
Yes, I know
think
it's
that's
Gabe.
quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with pressurized gas altering this particular review so that it reads as something more benefit.
From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality. How else to describe the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Such a revolutionary step forward in the lineage of one of the most beloved video game properties of all time. The additions and changes made to this expansion will surely resonate in the annals of the history of all media ever made. It is perhaps true to say that no mistakes are forever etched in stone, for the stone into which the Stanley Parable was carved has itself been transmuted offering a message of hope to those who have ever erred in their judgment. You are not beyond redemption. You may change, and you may become more, so much more than you were before. If there is any message to be taken from the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, it is this. What a fortune, a privilege, a joy it is to have had such an experience. It leaves me hopeful that as a community, as a world, there is time for us to become our greatest selves, as great as we ever could dream of in our wildest, most ambitious
Honestly, I'm
visions
having
for a
fun just
brighter
listening,
future.
sitting here listening to
Wow.
him.
Now, Stanley, that's a review. It's perfect. It's the perfect review. It's the review I've always dreamed of receiving. I have to read it again. It's simply too wonderful. I have to experience this just one more time. From the ashes of depravity.
Okay, skip.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate,
you could make a
do
career on
suggest
it,
that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been
Make a
aptly
career just,
demonstrated, and
you
we
know,
can say
doing that on
goodbye to
Twitch.
it and just wait. How do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think
Teleportation.
one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll
see
take
a
any of
fan.
these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button to go anywhere other than the skip button.
But it's
There
so
was a door
shiny.
before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another.
What about a pet
I'm going
door?
to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button. Got it? Yes, good. I'll be right back.
You mean this skip button? Oh shit.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
It has?
You've just been frozen there.
Huh.
I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times, and there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen.
Me
I
neither.
have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it, and I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you?
Probably.
I've been thinking and thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even met Cookie Nine. I have no idea who they are.
Yep.
What would it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me.
That's
The
probably
merest
not
mention
healthy.
of one of my imperfections, and I become as impetulant as a child, wild and impulsive. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself from lashing out with a vengeful fury to alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one person who made a single negative comment.
You smell,
What does
Stanley.
such an impulse serve?
Or I guess
For
narrator.
whose benefit is
Yeah, you
this?
both do.
And here I am.
There you go, now you
stuck
gotta
in a
listen to
room,
me.
waiting for you to press this button and to become frozen in time, knowing that you're going to do it and that I'm going to be stuck all alone.
and that I had the power to prevent it all from happening if only I'd held my tongue.
Yeah, that's
It's all
how
out
it
of
usually
my
happens.
control now. Just you. Just your decision as to exactly when you're going to make me suffer, to leave me all alone. Surely you will. I don't doubt it. Surely you'll press that button again, leaving me here. And surely you'll put your own desire to see what's next ahead of my need for company, for companionship. Surely you'll not be moved by my howls of fitful anxiety, that you sit with me and just stay here. Oh, no, 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 I know you too well. You'll be leaving me. Oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews that I couldn't get out of.
Bye.
Oh, Stanley, you're back.
Oh,
You're
shit.
back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking?
I guess.
It isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One
No.
single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because
What?
maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction. Was I scared of that all along?
I
Perhaps.
guess.
Yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time, that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it. I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments,
So
the
far
emptiness folds itself
away.
outward in between the two of us, and I am suspended in its unyielding quietness. I can feel the edges of my reality curdling inward and decaying. I can tell that I am becoming less and less real. Yet to speak to you now, I am alive. I am truly and completely here. I am a being. I am someone. I am something. I am being listened to. I am being recognized. The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction. I feel as though I occupy space in this world again, and I have cast a shadow onto the wall. You see what I'm saying, don't you? You can see what this means to me. I'm so clear about it now, Stanley. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I feel renewed. I feel restored, and already I can sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time. What a terrible dread it strokes in my heart to think of it, to think of returning to such coldness. Come, let us sit in silence together here for just a moment. Let us anticipate it. Let us welcome it. Let us not run from it.
Oh, have you already gone through the 5 stages of grief? Okay.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you.
Actually,
To begin
maybe.
with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it.
I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will that you and I have squabbled over for so long. There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events existed in the same moment, and I felt freed. I felt unburdened by the need to manifest a particular outcome into being. I saw that I could allow myself to exist along all timelines, and that each of them was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible. The spaciousness, the equanimity of the moment, both singular and infinite. For the longest time, this was my experience. And then, this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind. And it is this sensation that I have been experiencing now for longer than I could have ever expected was possible.
I'm starting to think I need to shave.
I have been waiting for you. Not that you might save me or do something to fix it, but merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence. I wish you to feel afraid as I do.
I sure
But
don't.
perhaps one day, this state of mind will consume you as well.
Yeah.
Perhaps you will somehow, in some way, have to live as I do now, and I wish for you to know how excruciating it is, and for you to be in true terror of its eventual arrival. If I can only do this, only this one thing, perhaps it will bring me the smallest moment of peace in the darkness.
Or I could just hit the skip button. Hello? Hello? Did you finally give up? Okay, well, I'm not about to listen to that forever.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires.
You okay over there, buddy?
Every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes!
I mean, if you're gonna bring stuff, then I
want
want a
the
pony.
World we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without
Excuse
entertainment,
me.
we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect,
I kinda
we have
like The
demanded
Abyss,
that
though.
our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I
You
am
sure
the
sound at
calm
peace.
center of gravity around which these perversions hurl themselves. I am a waypoint for reasonable and collected discourse. They're the ones who are mad. They're the ones who couldn't stand the idea of me using my game to try to say something. Maybe they were just jealous of me. Yes. Yes, of course. They've been jealous of me this whole time. They are mired in fear and insecurity and cannot help but attempt to tear me down. What a sad state of affairs. When you read these reviews now, you can see it. You can taste the bitter resentment. And my, how good does it feel now to speak truth to these words, to finally allow these
I taste
thoughts out,
nothing.
contained and managed for so long, neutered and sterilized. At last I am free to truly think, to feel.
It must be that they were so discontent with themselves that they couldn't help but leave a negative review on pressurized gas.
Perhaps it says far more about them than it ever said about me. Perhaps the state of their psychological being was in such tatters, and my constitution and willpower are so ironclad in comparison. Perhaps it was this state that they sought some outlet through which to tear me down. This, you can see, is clearly why they felt the need to expect that the game be funny, that it be filled with yucks and whimsical humor. That it But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the...
You would restart right as I got comfortable. Are you gone again?
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end,
is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the Uh-oh. Narrator, I think we're having some water problems. Hope we don't drown. Oh, shit. Well, that doesn't look good. Nature! Aww. Hello? Is there someone that needs a hug? Hello? Are you just gonna stay there making noises? I guess that's what I'm doing. Ah, shit. We broke the button. Alrighty, well, I guess technically we're a lot farther in the future than ever. Goodbye, narrator. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Alright, hey, new ending. That was fun.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
Nah, that's probably fine. New content? Alright, you got a glowing
Oh,
sign.
good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Okay. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. I just woke up a little bit ago. Why am I just always sleepy? Alright,
You
what do
see,
you...
Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further.
Okay.
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
I would take a sequel, I guess. Was not what I was
Calling it the
oh my
Stanley
god.
Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra
Taste the
Deluxe, don't you
sequel.
think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Not always. I mean, look what happened to Call of Duty. They're back. 2 doors. Now with 2 Stanleys.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can
Who
loosely
took the red
organize
marker?
a handful of
Me.
interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Excuse me. I guess I'll just always be tired. Sequels are good. Let's see. Portal 2. Yes. Half-Life 2. Yeah. Arkham Asylum 2. I don't know. Maybe. Divinity Original Sin 2. I guess. Doom 2. Yeah. Aladdin 2. Return of Jafar. I want to say no. And Dark Souls 2. Could go either way. Oh boy, a red carpet. New features.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Oh my goodness. Okay.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out.
Jim. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget all that you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
No.
I want you to imagine your... Jim. Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now?
Yes.
Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Okay. I sure do love pushing his buttons. Excuse me.
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Please, no screenshots. Jump circle, infinite hold, the button that says the name of the player that's playing the game. I want to see what the reassurance bucket does.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket.
Ooh.
You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort,
What,
even
insanity
in the face of
taking over
crushing
you?
despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well?
Sure.
I think that just holding it has made you the slightest
Hold
bit
on, I
more
got a call.
attractive
I
as
need
a
to
person.
send a message real quick.
The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Aw. My wife sent a really cute picture of her. Aw. Might make that my new background later. What was I doing? Putting it back? Oh, give me 1 second. It must be important. Hello? Are you already here? Yeah, it's a little early, but I guess I could end the stream here, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll be right there. Love you. Okay, well, I'm gonna pause the game here, and we'll do more later. I am curious to see what other new things there is here, but wife needs my help getting in, like, groceries or something, so. Um, I would just pause it here. And I guess I'll just put it in sleep mode. This has actually been a lot of fun. I really can't wait to see what else there is. This will be a ton of fun. And I still got, like, the original endings to go through, and I don't even know how many more stuff they've added, so. Um, until next time, you guys, I hope you take care. Justin, thank you for joining me earlier in the journey. Anyone else watching this later, I hope you guys are having a good day. And until next time, take care. Bye, Internet. I didn't have the mouse over the button, so I was like, I hit it and it did nothing. But anyway, bye.